Hello and welcome to a new episode on Sadhana World Foundation. 5th of September is observed as Teachers' Day, Guru Divas in India, and worldwide it's 5th of October. The theme is to remember our teachers, their contribution in our lives. Teachers help us to walk the path which is right. Teachers help us in building our characters. Teachers help us to make us better citizens for the society, for the world at large. Teachers create a sense of curiosity in all of us. In short, teachers help us to lead the right path, lead a better life. I was wondering whether it is a Hindu tradition of saying Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara. I was wondering whether it is an Indian tradition to remember our teachers. Probably it was a point in time where India was extremely poor after the British left our country, and the country had to be rebuilt in a significant way. And the builders of India of that time probably thought that India needs to respect its teachers, and hence in memory of the teachers, Teachers' Day as a special day was celebrated. However, as I dug little deeper, I could figure out that this is not only an Indian tradition, this is not a Hindu tradition, this is international. If we think of the Greek mythology, we find the trio, Socrates, whose student Plato, and his student Aristotle. The trio really shaped the Western culture, Western civilization, Western thinking in a significant way. Alexander the Great had his teacher Aristotle. He is said to have said that I am indebted to my father for this life in this world. However, the biggest contribution is of Aristotle, my teacher, who has helped me live a good life. We can debate whether it was a good life or not. However, the point is the contribution of a teacher. Think of this folktale around Adi Shankaracharya. Once Adi Shankaracharya was walking through the jungles along with his teacher. They reach a village where they meet a scholar who is challenging everybody to find solutions to complex challenges. Shankaracharya's teacher could figure that this scholar was arrogant and he needed to be taught a lesson. So he nudged his disciple, in this case Shankara, to solve the problem, argue with the scholar. And Shankara, being who he was, the blessed person that he was able to lucidly explain and argue the point. Just after this event, Shankara thought that his teacher would appreciate him for the way that he argued with the scholar, for the way that he was able to explain and put his point forward. However, Shankara's teacher taught him a lesson that day as well. Shankara's teacher, instead of appreciating Shankara, asked him if he saw the cow in that environment. Shankara said, "Sorry, I didn't see any cow. Was there a cow at all? I was focused on the points that the scholar was making, and I was thinking how to respond to all those points. I thought I did a very good job in explaining my arguments, in putting forth my arguments." The teacher told him that we need to be mindful. We need to see the beauty of the surrounding around us. Imagine the amount of teaching that this particular folktale tells all of us. Adi Guru Shankaracharya, for the wisdom, for the intellect that he had, for the foresight that he had, for the blessed life that he lived on this world, had to learn the concept of being mindful. the concept of seeing the environment, and there is so much more than what we see. The concept of universality possibly comes through this teaching. Imagine the amount of contribution that the teacher makes in the life of Adiguru. And similarly, there are of course many other stories. Look at Mahabharata. There is Dronacharya and Ekalavya. Ekalavya, the disciple who learns the art of archery from a distance and becomes one of the greatest archers of that time. And Dronacharya teaches him a lesson that there is a parampara of Guru and Sishya. There is a tradition of teacher and disciple, and that tradition is important. We can argue what Dronacharya did was right or wrong. However, the point here is about valuing what we receive from our teacher. Think of the other story of the Zen Buddhist. Again, similarly, a disciple who had come to his teacher after a few years of having spread his wisdom, having advised many people around that area, visited his teacher with the hope that his teacher would give him some more knowledge. And he started describing all that he had amassed, all that insight that he had gathered, and he kept describing all of that to the teacher to impress the teacher. The teacher kept on listening to him, and after some time the teacher offered him a cup of tea. The teacher kept on pouring the tea into his cup. The cup became full up to the brim and the tea was overflowing. That time the disciple could not hold his patience and said, "Sir, the tea is overflowing. It cannot take any more." The teacher, of course, stopped and looked at the disciple and said that, "You are like this teapot, my dear. For something to go inside the teapot needs to have some empty space. Is your mind empty? Are you open for learning? Or you are full with whatever you know?" Again, extremely profound. Look at the impact that the teachers have made on the lives of the disciples. We talked about Alexander the Great, we talked about Adi Shankaracharya, we talked about this Zen disciple. And of course, there are many. In our tradition, ancient texts have talked about whether it is Christianity, whether it is Chinese philosophy, the Confucius and his disciples, and many others around this world. I think the point is well established that in our lives there is a contribution of teacher, and that teacher needs to be revered. The teacher needs to be respected. Can we think about it? Can we offer our prayers, our respect, our homage to all those great people, whether they are friends, whether they are juniors, whether they are teachers, whether they are people in our family? We keep learning from many of them and being shaped as human beings on this world. Thank you very much for listening to this and thinking about this concept of this universal concept of respecting teachers.